Okay. Welcome everyone. We'll call the regular meeting of council for Monday, August 18th, 2025 to order, please. The first item on the agenda is the adoption of the agenda. Is there a motion? Thank you. Seconder, please. Thank you. All those in favor? That was carried. Today we have, so next I need a resolution to resolve into the committee of the whole, please. Councillor Wilson and Councillor Hudson, thank you. All those in favor? And that was carried. Okay, so today we have two delegations. The first delegation is our MP, Rob Morrison. In the room. He's the only one that's not.
Second. So far.
They're gonna take these pictures. Hello, have a seat. I was gonna introduce you and you weren't here. Okay, so we have Rob Morrison, our member of parliament for Columbia, Kootenay, Southern Rockies, to provide an opportunity to give us an update and answer some questions from council. So welcome.
Oh, thank you, Worship. I appreciate being here. You probably know this is my summer break from being in Ottawa, and it gives me a really good opportunity to go to all the city councilors and councils I have throughout the riding, which we have quite a few. So I've been to most of them already this year, and I'm glad I had the opportunity to be here for today for your meeting. And I really think that it's probably more important for me to listen to what your concerns are rather than me talking about things that are going on in Ottawa. I will be back there mid-September, so it's really important for me to understand the specific needs of trail. And that's one reason why I'm here.
Okay, I will open it to council to see if you have any questions for Rob, and don't be shy. Councilor Cashel.
Do it.
I know.
Thank you. Through the chair. Yeah, just some general questions that I think, our constituents would want to hear. Of course, that's my role, is to represent them here at the table. Firstly, thank you for being here. We were just talking earlier, your area is over 40,000 square kilometers. So you move around a lot, and we appreciate you being here today. Mr. Morrison, what specific steps is the federal government taking to support small municipalities like Trail in developing affordable housing?
Yeah, really good question, and through the chair as well. Right now, because we just had a change in government, so that happened, we only had 5 weeks before we broke. So to actually get into specific strategies, I'll give you an example. Historically, it's only about a year and a half old. One of our municipalities forwarded a request for some affordable housing. They had done all the homework, had everything completed. Federal government reviewed it and said, you're too far advanced. It was like, that's shovel ready as UBCM, and we all know from a lot of it, our years, my time in government anyway. This project was 100% shovel ready, and the federal government said you're too far advanced. So I think we have a new government now, and I'm hoping that we work a better relationship with them, and that's what I always strive for. So I would say, if you're preparing to look at affordable housing and have a plan, let's see it. Let me take that to Ottawa, put that in front of them and say, here we are. I'm in Trail, we need this, and here's why we need it.
And just, if I may, through the chair, thank you, Mr. Morrison. So the next question, will there be increased federal funding for addiction and recovery centers for our region here of the Kootenays? Currently, there's none.
I hope there is, because I know my stance, if you don't, on addictions, is detox rehab. And we certainly need a lot more detox rehab centers for our people who are addicted to go to, because I believe that dealing with the addiction brings them back into our community and they become part of the community, and that's what I'm all about. So I will be fighting, and I have already for the last 6 years, fought for more money being spent in the areas of funding addiction and detox rehab. So that is a priority for me.
Thank you.
Is that all your questions?
Well,
Councillor? Go for
I
it.
have two more. Yeah, I don't want to rob the floor, and I'm sorry if I'm stealing any of your thunder. Again, and this may be a difficult question to answer, but what tangible progress has been made federally to address the catch and release of repeat violent offenders?
Yeah, we're actually have a private members bill that is going to be hitting the table on September, I think, 17th, our first day back, where we are looking at a total revamp of the catch and release problems. And I'm hoping that this time that the government will see that their catch and release policies have been devastating, especially for it's every community, big cities as well, but small communities. It's just, how do you deal with that? Like I remember coming here and I almost wanted to be a plywood salesperson because all the buildings downtown were plywooded over. I thought, boy, that someone's gonna make some money selling plywood. Just terrible though. Because our small communities, we want to attract people to come into town, and that's, well, the majority of our businesses are right downtown, and we need to deal with that catch and release. It just is a total failure.
Thank you, Ms. Morgan. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, Councillor Hanson.
Thank you, through the chair. Thank you so much for joining us. I think it's really important to have this relationship, so that's great for the people to take time to come and visit us. I think something in smaller communities that we struggle with is being the fact that we're a smaller rural community. A lot of the big funding goes to big areas. So what is the federal government doing to work with the provincial governments to allocate funding responsibly to make sure that the smaller communities like us aren't getting left out of infrastructure funding, development funding, grants, etc.?
That is a great question because I haven't seen a lot of funding come to our area. So we are always putting in for funding for the smaller communities, and I'm rural, so you know that I know what it's all about. Sometimes the cities feel that there's a center of the universe. You probably heard that expression. And it's really hard, but I will say this, I'm hoping with this new government that we'll make some nonpartisan headway and just let's keep fighting the fight. So let's keep hitting me up with the funding that you require for whatever program it is. I know that we're looking at, we were going to look at funding allocations for, like, for example, interior health from the federal government to say, okay, we'll give you the $70 million, but where's it going? So that there's some accountability, and I just picked on healthcare, but so that there's some accountability that the money's actually being spent properly and not maybe too administrative heavy. So that it actually comes right down to where we're hiring, nurses and doctors and lab techs and x-ray techs and the things that we need.
Thank you. Can I have one more follow-up?
Sure.
Thank
Sure,
you.
go ahead, Councillor Hanson.
Thank you for the healthcare, because that's always in our area, healthcare is huge, very huge, not possible in the area, and struggling with provincial oversight and making sure the left hand knows what the right hand's doing when the money's being spent is really important. The other thing that I was wondering about is how is the federal government working through, of course, the new foreign student ban on smaller areas is a huge issue for us. We have a lot of those foreign students that were going to Selkirk that aren't going to be going to Selkirk. Why is there not more pilot programs like they have in Toronto regarding students that are international students being able to do trades? Because I think that in our area, trades is a huge struggle for us, being able to obtain trades at a reasonable price and cost. And why would we not be looking at, supporting rural communities that want to have trades and whatnot, more education, as opposed to only having it in universities and big centers, being able to allow foreign students?
Yeah, I was working with Selkirk College actually on that exact issue. This is before the election, so about a year ago, on why there isn't more programs for the trades, well, all trades, whichever one you want to pick. And they were saying they're trying to get the funding to do that, but they were having a hard time getting funding directed at the trade programs. So I think now that we see, we've got our CIP, I don't know if you know, that's a rural community immigration program, so that's trail. It's not our whole region though, which is odd, so I've got people mad at me in Cranbrook because they're not included. Creston is, Cranbrook isn't. So, and that program actually is specific and it does identify trades. So there is opportunities through the RCIP program to apply for and getting some students here that can do that program. The historical problem with that was they wanted people to be able to either work for 40 hours a week or just go to school. Well, the trades isn't, it's both. Because you've got to go to your school for so many months and then you got to work. And you're not working full time. So then that's when they said, oh, well, that doesn't work. It didn't fit their mold. So I hope it's now we're seeing that with the lack of housing, for example, with trades, that the federal government looks and uses some common sense and says, we need more tradespeople here. So how are we gonna do that? Well, we might have to adjust a program that allows for working school for the 4 years of an apprenticeship program.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions from council? I just had a couple of questions myself, if there's nothing else, okay. I wanted to talk about the RCMP staffing funding in our community. We are short-staffed. We, have a higher rate of organized crime in our area right now. And is there anything that the federal government is doing to help rural BC with those kind of costs, especially with the police funding?
Okay, so because you're a municipality, you pay for your police, so you have a police chief. You can order more police officers should you so desire. You just have to pay for them. A percentage of them, so you would pay 70% of that salary, so you can have more police officers should you need them. The shortage, and it just so happens I was talking with Assistant Commissioner Brewer, who's in charge of contract policing for British Columbia. I was talking to him today, I see the problem being the RCMP is hiring based on Ottawa priorities. They should be basing it on Trail or Kootenay priorities. So our priorities are different than downtown Ottawa. They're different than downtown Toronto and Vancouver. Our priorities are rural. We want police officers to come here that want to, embrace our rural communities. So I was fortunate to be in Creston as a young constable, and I've spent many, many hours in your old police office here downstairs in the basement down there. We did a lot of wiretaps here years ago and things like that. So I spent a lot of time in Toronto. So I understand the needs of rural policing, and I think the RCMP have to be able to prioritize staffing. Like you should, as the mayor, you should be able to call the RCMP and say, we need 2 more police officers. We'd like to do some hiring. Come here, let you be part of the hiring process of picking people who meet the security requirements, of course, but who actually want to live in Trail. They want to make this their community, so they become involved in all the sporting events. Like I coached high school volleyball and hockey, and when I was in Creston as a young constable. Today, I think we're finding that a lot of the people who we're bringing in are not really interested in this rural policing gig. They want to be in a city where there's all sorts of traffic lights and stuff, and not here. So I think that's the biggest problem, in my opinion, is we're not getting the hiring of the right people. So I'm lucky enough to meet with the commissioner of the RCMP quite often, who I know very well, and I always bring that up. So I now have an ally with the province of BC, and it's really, let's try and get that hiring process fixed. Provincially, that's a different issue because the province is RCMP are only on contract. They just say, there's the police officers, you fill the positions as you see fit. That's the province. But for you in Trail, the municipal vacancies, those are yours.
Yeah.
And you should be on there saying, we need these bodies, our crime unit here, like your organized crime, and how much help are you getting from the province on helping you with organized crime? Because, organized crime is a difficult, it takes up surveillance, it takes a lot of extra money to be able to do that. And long before you get into a homicide, which is even more expensive, let's work on these organized crime criminals who are coming into small communities and actually just extorting themselves because there's no enforcement here and they know it.
Okay. Did you have another
Just to
question?
follow up with that through the
Okay,
chair, Surrey recently went municipal, I read the RCMP and. The city of Kelowna is looking at doing a study right now for municipal. And there's been other articles that I've read, but I can't exactly remember the locations, but from a national viewpoint, is that trending across Canada? More and more municipalities maybe looking at municipal policing and removing the contract with the RCMP from the picture?
Well, I think let's just back up a bit to Surrey. The city of Surrey wanted to keep the RCMP, the province of British Columbia overturned that. Different, right? But there are other communities that have gone, one in Alberta, I think in was it Grand Prairie? Grand Prairie went municipal. So it's up to you. If you do not, you here could go to a municipal police force if you chose to.
No, I guess my question is just, is it trending in Canada from your
Yeah,
perspective?
I say in talking with contract police people there, the RCMP is very happy to do contract policing because it actually trains their police officers to do federal, national security, organized crime investigations internationally. Like I was stationed in Pakistan. I lived in Pakistan doing national security work with the RCMP. So that's the advantage of having contract policing is it trains police officers to go to higher levels of enforcement. So I don't think it's trending. There are people who are questioning vacancies patterns like your worship, you're quite right. Why are we having vacancies? I mean, it pays fairly well. The pay's good. Problem is, I don't think we're getting the right people. And I think if the RCMP started hiring based on local priorities, that we would get the right people in the right communities, and we wouldn't be having, I mean, Kelowna is looking at it, I can give you a historical example of, Esquimalt. They didn't have a police force, their police force was fire police years ago, and they disbanded it, and so then Victoria PD came in and policed Esquimalt, well, Esquimalt asked for the RCMP and Victoria Police and Saanich Police to put in a bid. Like, who do you want? So I was with the RCMP doing contract at the time, the chief superintendent, and I put in a bid to police Esquimalt. They accepted our bid. But Victoria Police was already providing service to Esquimalt, so they were stuck with the police officers that they already had in there. So at the end of the day, the province wanted to leave Victoria Police and not take the RCMP. And people too also get confused with the 10%. So if you're under 15,000, federal government pays 30% of your salary for your police officers. If you're over 15,000, they pay 10%. That isn't subsidizing. What that's for is if anything really important happens and you need police, they can come to you and say, we want 30% of your detachment for 30 days. And they don't have to pay any money. So they get 30 days of 30% of your police force. So if you have 10 people, they get 3 for 30 days. After that, if they still need them, they have to pay. So Olympics, if there was a national disaster, like a big plane crash in the area, they would want to draw those people, but it's only for 30 days, very rarely used. And it's sort of, it's a policy that allows the federal government to have access to more law enforcement if they need them. That's what it's there for.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I don't know if you've taken a drive around our community right now, but we are demolishing the building down at 900 Spokane Street.
Yeah.
So us, like other rural communities in your area, are finding that infrastructure is very, very expensive to keep up and to make sure that it's maintained to a level that's right for our community. Is there any grants or funding that the federal government has available that can support us in the work that we're doing right here in our community at this time?
So infrastructure funding to like maintain older buildings that you're gonna demolish and rebuild, or just demolish?
Well, when we demolish that building, we're going to find old infrastructure.
Yeah.
Such as sewer, water, etc. Is there any kind of funding for upgrading that in our communities?
Well, that's again, infrastructure funding that is, we have to apply for it. So I suggest we get into that and let's
Okay.
apply for it. Let's get that forwarded to the federal government, say that we need this funding because of this.
Okay.
So because they have funded, we have had some infrastructure funding for that sort of thing. We got it, Kimberly got some, I think Cranbrook might have got a little bit. And so, yeah, let's make sure we get in the
Okay.
dollar figure. And
Is there any specific programs that you can, tell us about or, send us or,
yeah, there are,
okay,
there are, can I get back to you on?
sure,
giving you those?
absolutely, yeah,
That way you'll have the exact programs, and then if you do put in a letter to the minister, make sure I know so I can put one in too.
okay,
Cause I know quite a few of them, and I get along with lots of them, so it's
Okay.
easy for me to go and talk to them and have a coffee or
great.
beer or whatever with them, so yeah.
Okay, that's all the questions I have.
Well,
Thank you for, thank you
that
for
was,
being here
that was
today
easier.
and,
That's easier than me going to court.
No, it was great to meet you finally, and thank you for being here, and we appreciate your support for our community. And yeah, maybe
Well-
we'll see you in September.
You'll see me, I'll be here lots before that, but I really appreciate the invite, and I love coming here, and it actually, my drive here is, it's a lot easier to drive here than Revelstoke, although I like Revelstoke. But it's a lot easier to drive here, because my home is Preston, so it's easy for me to come here, so
Great.
thank you very much.
I don't think we were introduced to the gentleman to your right, though. were we?
Oh, this is my chief of staff, Wes Graham. Wes Graham's a counselor in Cranbrook.
Mhm.
And yes, he works with me and he helps me get to these meetings on time and gives me all sorts of advice that I need.
Great, thank you both for being here today.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So, can you, oh, there he is.
Yeah, I'm right in the back,
Okay.
so yeah,
So next
back
up,
to follow with.
Yeah. we have Herb Alex on behalf of the Sinites Confederacy to present a recent Chinook study in the area. Hi.
Yeah, thanks. So Hawaii Hospitality and Squeeze Herb Alex, my name is Herb Alex, I hope everyone's having a good day. I'm the Senior Policy Advisor for the Sinites Confederacy in Nelson, BC. And I've addressed this council before, so I don't think I need to go too far down that path. So the reason I'm here today is to talk about our Chinook reintroduction work that we've been doing, not only here in the Canadian portion of the Columbia River, but throughout the entire river. So Chinook are a keystone species for any ecosystem. They've been blocked. There's 7 dams on the US side on the main stem of the Columbia, and 5 of those dams have fish passage and 2 of them do not. Chief Joseph Dam and Brewster Washington and Grand Coulee, which are coincidentally the 2 downstream dams from here. So there's been a lot of focus on getting those fish past those 2 dams and moving them up into Lake Roosevelt and up into the Canadian portion, which we refer to as the Transboundary Reach. Chinook are the target donor stock. They're a lot bigger than sockeye, for example. So we're working on not only bringing them up through this area, but all the way up to Invermere eventually. Because these fish are transboundary fish, dealing with them comes up with a whole bunch of different issues. Commercial fisheries on the ocean. I've been talking to killer whale folks because the Chinook and the killer whales co-evolved, and the killer whales are getting really skinny. And the Chinook are getting smaller and they're getting fewer of them. So up here, I would like to refer to this as the cold water refuge for Chinook. And the reason that's important because as the lower part of the Columbia warms up, the Snake River and some of these other big systems are just getting too warm. If it gets warmer than 21 degrees, that's lethal to a salmon. So the life cycle of the salmon, I did have some pictures, I think they're in your information package. But the life cycle of the salmon, they come up, they spawn, they go out to the ocean. In this example, the Columbia drains in by Portland and Long Beach. They head up to Alaska, they start heading towards Japan, and then they come back as adults to where they spawned before. So the fish have been out of this system for about the last 80 years, with Grand Coulee going in the 40s. But there's been a lot of effort and a lot of money put towards their reintroduction. So I want to point out that we are doing a reintroduction. It is not an introduction. First Nations groups never introduce anything new. This is one that was taken away. So what we've been doing study wise, and I'll give you guys a little background. So I think it was 4 years ago, BC Hydro has these sturgeon arrays locally. And they were releasing some adult Chinook into the Spokane River and the San Poil. And then the BC Hydro downloaded their arrays like a month or two later, their sturgeon arrays. And coincidentally, the tracking devices that were in the fish coincided with those arrays, and they realized they had they had some Chinook that swam up. Chinook always try and go higher, right? So they didn't like I don't know if they didn't like it, but they swam out of the rivers they put in and made their way up here, which is good. So what we've been doing over the last couple of years is we've been targeting them coming up here. So we did a little pilot study 3 years ago. Last year, we did a fairly larger study. We still don't have the study reporting out on that because we're still doing the data analysis. But what we did is we released, I think it was around 250 adult Chinook in Northport, Washington, which is just beneath the border. The reason we released them there is CFIA is very difficult to bring live fish across the border, but they swim up on their own. The moment you put them in a truck, government gets involved. So we've been, so last year we released these Chinook. We monitor where they go, but also what they do. So location and behavior. And the main behavior we're looking for is spawning. So there is a lot of spawning habitat in the area. And basically they came up last year. They were bumping their nose on Brilliant Dam and they were bumping their nose on Hugh Side Dam. And they actually did exhibit spawning behavior. We had a number of reds. Unfortunately, my biologist is off for a little bit, so I still have to analyze that data. But there was multiple reds, and they seem to really like Janelle, and they seem to really like right around Robson Street Bridge in Castlegar. We're going to expand our study design, so we partnered with BC Hydro, and we partnered with Selkirk College. So BC Hydro for location, tracking the fish on their arrays, on their sturgeon arrays, which they have every couple of kilometers. But we also had arrays on the US side, so we were able to see that the fish were actually moving back and forth quite a bit. One of the reasons they move around so much is because there hasn't been any fish here. There's no marine nutrient signature on any of these streams. A marine nutrient is a nutrient that's come from the ocean. Saltwater nutrient is unique to salmon. And because they don't been died and left that marine nutrient signature on individual creeks, these fish just swim around and try to find something, and they do find habitat. So we are repeating this study this year, and that's why I'm here. So we sent out some media, got picked up by Castanet and a couple different organizations, and basically they let the public. It's a public advisory as well. If you catch a fish, we can't tell them to keep them because anytime there's a new species in here, they're not regulated on the Canadian portion. And it would be technically illegal for us to tell them to keep them. But what we're asking people to do is do an ID, take a picture of it, send us the location where they found it. These fish perish after they've spawned, so we've also asked people to keep an eye out for carcasses. So this year we've released more in Northport and Evans Boat Lodge. And this year we didn't do acoustic tags in them. This year we did spaghetti tags. Spaghetti tags, magic on the fish. Have them go through their fin in the back, and then you can see them from the air. With the drone work that we're doing with Selkirk College, we should be able to identify them. So we have some really good success with this. We actually had sturgeon that were hovering right behind the reds. A red is a nest, fish nest. And this is speculation, but we think that some of these sturgeon some of these sturgeons were older than 80 years old. And we think that some of those sturgeon remember there being Chinook in the area, and they are going behind them to pick off the eggs, the ones that get loose. That's an interesting sidebar, but there's great pictures of this huge sturgeon right behind this Chinook trying to do their thing. But the Chinook coming back, I feel, is inevitable. Okay, I wanted to give you guys this information because you are going to have encounters, fishermen encounters. You're going to be seeing them. We're going to be doing these media pieces, and we're really going to push these different dam owners up here. Some of them have written in when these fish come back, they got to start changing the way they operate to some degree. I have to get back to on that. But it's written in when these fish arrive that it's gonna change. So another important thing is there might be the potential for different, dam, management based on the spawning times of these fish and things like that. I'm gonna have to get back to you after we get the data out. We are gonna speak with the DFO, Department of Fisheries and Ocean, because returning salmon triggers a response from them as well. So I wanted to let you guys know, this is a big study. There's a lot of money going into the US side.
Mhm.
The Biden and Harris administration has given the Upper Columbia United Tribes significant amounts of money, to the tune of around 200 million. And that's US, so that's about $250 million Canadian. To work on this is not to create passage, this is just to study the passage, help out with fish ladders and things like that. So but that money stops at the border. Unfortunately for us up here. But there was some other, a larger amount of money that was gonna go down to the Lower Columbia tribes. And my understanding of the Trump administration, pulled that funding. And they had their reasons, the admirable components and things like that. But we have our money coming in, so it's getting banked to some degree, even though it's over multiple years. So it's taken very seriously down there. Everybody I speak to up here takes it very seriously. And it will change ecosystem function up here for the better. With the Chinook do come back, then there's all these fishing opportunities and things like that. It's funny, I was driving by Janelle and I seen this big sign for the Chinook Scaffolding Company.
Yeah.
You guys know that guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, tell him I said hi and tell him thanks for keeping the dream alive, man, for 80 years. I was looking at that sign and I should call this guy. But at any rate, so there's a memory here that the Chinook used to come up into the system. There used to be lots of them, sockeye as well as some other species.
Mhm.
But Chief Joseph Hatchery on Chief Joseph Dam is the one that does a lot of the Chinook. So we're able to access those. And truck and transport. So truck and transport with the idea that we study what those fish do and what they do when they come up into Canada. And then based on that information, we report back and hopefully that will get some fish passage at these very large high head dams. There's different opportunities. They tried to fish cannon and all these things. You guys probably seen that. But really fish passage needs to be a little bit more natural. We did have fish that spawned in the Spokane River. The fish actually made it out to the ocean, did their whole life cycle, and came back into the hatchery in Chief Joe. So I wanted to kind of let you guys know, I'm gonna be speaking to Castlegar too, and just let you guys know that as information starts coming in, that you guys are aware of it. Chinook salmon, keynote species, indicator species, multiple benefits to communities. And it's a really big success story, not only First Nations, but all our partners that we work with in the area in these regards. So I've been talking a lot. I know I only have 15 minutes, so do you guys have any questions?
Any questions, council? Go ahead,
Yeah,
Councilor.
thank you, through the chair. How many fish do you release in Edmonton South?
Last year, 259, this year that number's greater. So it's gonna be around 350 already. I was just talking to someone earlier and they said they're gonna put some more, so I don't have a final number on that, but it's gonna be more than what it was last year at 259. So last year we put in 259, but we only tagged 60. But then you get an idea of, I think it was 80% of those fish came into Canada, so then the assumption would be 80% of that 250 came in, and then 80% of that 400 were hoping. So they're around. There was a Chinook caught in these Cascade Falls that are coming from some of these releases about 3 or 4 weeks ago. There actually was a Chinook caught up in Arrow Lake because Hugh Keemley side has that boat block, so some of them actually made it through. So they'll just sit in front of their last barrier and wait till they can get passage, and then they'll squeak through the boat launch. Brilliant don't have that option, but Brilliant is stopping them from getting up the Spokane. And that is an undammed river, has tons of potential. And these fish need a rearing lake for like a year, so Spokane Lake would be that. So when we come into these restoration projects up in these watersheds, we really are gonna start focusing on having that Chinook component that can coincide with bull trout, rainbow trout and all that stuff. All those species. So I just wanted to let you guys know, things are moving forward. We are gonna start reaching out to the federal and provincial government, in these regards a little bit more and seeing how we can work with them. So that is an update on the Chinook returning to the area. They are returning. DFO might say, well, they're not naturally returning because you guys are putting them in a truck. Well, we're gonna have to wait and see how that conversation plays out. But that's what I do for a living, so I'm looking forward to it. All right, you guys, I think that was about
Awesome.
15 minutes,
Thank
so
you so much for being here today.
yeah,
and sharing
just an
that.
update. I did
Yeah.
have some pictures of some Chinook and stuff, but I sent them in the body of the email, not an attachment. So we were able to flash them up on the screen.
It's okay, we got them on our
You
agenda.
got them, and you got
Yeah.
an idea of the size,
Yeah.
right? They're big.
They're huge.
All right, you
But
guys.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
for having me and have a good rest of your day and a great good rest of your meeting and I'm. Thank you. Cheers, guys.
You do wanna stay?
I do want to say that.
So, I am just aware of the time here and I know that Ben has an appointment at 4 o'clock. Are you guys okay if Ben, okay. So, thank you, Ben, for being here today. Today, we're just moving into the department, verbal updates. And first up, we have Ben, Gresley Jones, Manager of Engineering and Project. Go
Good
ahead, Ben.
afternoon, Mayor and Council. Thanks for having me. Providing an update on the 2 demolition projects that we have going on downtown as part of our downtown revitalization. A status update on budget and schedule for the 2 projects. There has been an increase to the initial budget due to the presence of additional abatement materials that we couldn't uncover during the pre-abatement or pre-demolition reports. This will set the schedule back, obviously, with these newly found materials. They come with labor and time. So the update on the 2 project schedules for those individuals are 901 Helena is anticipated completion on September 19th now. With 900 Spokane following with an anticipated date of October 17th. So it's pushed us about a month back based on the materials that were uncovered. Some of the key milestones to date, demolition and backfill of the old hospital, the wooden structure at 901 has been ongoing and is near completion. The elevator shaft abatement is underway currently, which was another uncovered material which has set us back. And access to the 4th floor of the CS Williams Clinic has been opened up with demolition of that structure anticipated this Thursday, starting this week. As far as the public impact for the projects, as we enter the demolition phase, there's going to be more temporary lane and road closures. We'll continue to let the public know when those are happening. They're necessary during the demolition work to maintain safety. And then work occurring outside on these structures is likely to attract more attention. So we expect more people standing and watching. So maintaining safety around those sites is important. As just touching again, some of the key achievements, the 901 abatement is near complete with the elevator component being the last aspect of that project. And the demolition of the hospital being complete. And 900 Spokane Street abatement began about a week following 901, so the 11th they got underway there. So that structure is in the process of being prepared for demolition as well. And then as far as some identifying risks, at this point it's hard to, being that the ones that we've uncovered were unknown and we couldn't actually find out what they were until we get beyond the stage of abatement. So we're dealing with those as we come along and helping Kinetic and local continue to move forward.
Great.
That's all I have to report. If there's any questions.
Any questions? No? Okay, thank you, Ben.
Okay, I appreciate your time. I'm
Yep.
very after around.
That's okay, thank you. Okay, so we'll move back to Public Works, and the first one up is the General Manager of Municipal Services, Jared Meyer.
Actually, Jared's gonna come last.
Oh, is he?
Yep,
Okay.
he is because we're going with Craig.
Going with Craig. Okay, thank you, Utilities Manager.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Missed the last couple of meetings, so it's been a bit. I'll just start with some updates. Last thing we talked about was some upgrades in our CMP facility. I just want to report the fire suppression control panel and sensory that's complete. Replaced a 6-inch fire suppression valve, isolation valve. That was leaking, it was an ongoing issue, it's done and replaced. We also installed some exhaust fan ducting, stainless steel from the downstairs mechanical room to the roof. There's always there's a little sewage lift station down there, so there's always a little residual sewer gas, so we kind of once and for all got that evacuated, so. I'll just give you some updates on what we performed. So we've had 9 emergency water main repairs this year to date, 10 emergency water service lines, 3 emergency water main valve replacements. We've replaced 1 fire hydrant and isolation valve. 7 emergency sanitary sewer service lines we've repaired, replaced. 1 emergency storm main repair. 4 emergency catch basin repairs. By emergency, I mean they collapse, so they're active quickly. We've had 56 requests for water shutoffs to date. We responded to 37 sewer backups, and no, those aren't all City of Trail issues. A lot of them were homeowner as well, so you still got to react. And Noran Street, part of our directional flushing program, we're identifying deficiencies. So Noran Street's a dead end water main. We installed a blow off valve there so we can flush it properly and get better quality, more life out of the pipe. So that's complete. And Buckness Street, we've did some drainage improvements, a lot of groundwater up there. Installed another catch basin as well. One of the big things we did, we had a 12-inch valve inserted live on McBride Street. So to pass these around, we're kind of a little bit of yeah. That's nice. Yeah. Yeah, so it's a cool process. We're able to install a valve live without shutting anything down. So it kind of gives you the breakdown of the photos on this process. Yeah, so there's no disruption, no air in the system, no less contamination. That particular area was a vast area, so we had a break. We had to shut down a lot of the city on that end. We identified that from the break we had last year, so this will help us out, and we're able to isolate this line. There's some other valves lower on that we found that were broken, so now we can close this big valve. Divert water up to McBride Street from the Bear Creek well. And yeah, this makes our repair process a lot simpler and easier. So now we can pick away at these other valves that are broken. Any questions on that insert, how it's done or anything? Yeah. Planned work coming up, we have reservoir, all 8 of our reservoirs are getting inspected starting tomorrow. So they're gonna use a remote operating vehicle, go through the hatch, and we can kind of do an internal inspection. Yeah, again, back to McBride Street, we intend on tentatively replacing those valves this week, I'm hoping. If all goes well, we're back on our 3-month sewer flush list, just preventive maintenance. We got a couple CVs one on 690 bins and one just over here in 840 Spokane Street that have failed. We're replacing those as well. And lift station inspections and we're just ongoing work. We're gonna clean the wet wells. We do that annually. Just do it, yeah. Keep maintaining and running good. That's it.
Great, thank you. Any questions? Council Martin.
Thank you, through the chair, sorry. How was it with those damn storms?
They were a disaster. That was very excessive. It overwhelmed a lot of our systems. We've had, yeah, a lot of flooding, especially East Trail. Even Sunnydale, a lot of flooding. It overwhelmed our lift stations. Some of the private dwellings have their roof leads hooked to the sewer. They're not supposed to be. So that, even though we have a separate main, storm main and a separate sewer main, that overwhelms the system. And I've never seen it overwhelm that lift station before, so that's how intense it was. No, staff. Yeah, staff, yeah.
My question was actually something to do with that, it was exactly, thank you to the chair. Has there been, because of that the Wild West storm, has there been specific areas that have been identified now because of that we really need to focus on infrastructure improvements?
Yeah, some of the areas we're aware of already, like East Trail, there's some bottlenecks and there's some of just the different ages of infrastructure as they built on. There's some smaller diameter pipes and then we're gonna try and increase those. Little, a few spot repairs that should help out. I do have True working on a program to kind of look through that area. And then we're gonna come up with a plan for next year, hopefully to, plan.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, cool.
Any other questions? No? Okay, thank you, Craig, for being here today.
Well, yeah.
Thanks for taking the time.
Yeah.
So next up, we have grounds and roads manager, Josh Conchi.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Thank you for having me. Updates from the Grounds and Roads Department. Over the past month, we issued 4 tenders. Unfortunately, we received no bids for the covered stair assessment and the gyro master plan, so we will be engaging local firms to help develop a strategy for next steps. The McBride Street Playground replacement and tree assessment tenders received multiple bids, so I will be reviewing the submissions and making my recommendations in the coming weeks. Upcoming work, summer fertilizing of all playing fields in major parks will commence probably the beginning of next week. For about a 2-week duration. Paving of Tamarack and Reservoir Road start this Wednesday. To be completed by Saturday at the latest, and that's power paving. Those are 2 big paving projects. Reservoir Road, as you guys probably know, is in horrible condition right now. And the last 2 storms obviously didn't help that, so 2 big paving projects I'm excited to get done and out of the way. Gyro Park herbicide application starts Wednesday, this week, the 20th. We're breaking it down into 2 sections. The skate park section right to the sidewalk will be phase 1. Next Wednesday, the 27th, will be phase 2, which is the main body of Gyro Park. I've dealt with the contractor, lots of questions, lots of Q&A. And the product is safe as soon as it's dry, but we're gonna take an extra precaution and 24-hour closure. So he will have lots of signage along the perimeters, and basically Claire and myself will be advising the public that if the signage is up, please don't enter the area. It'll be very quick. But Gyro's being overrun with lots of broadleaf this year that we've noticed, so it needs a good shot. Try to bring it back to life before we put it to bed for the winter. And Beliski, that's the big one right now. Hopefully you guys had the opportunity to look at that video I sent this morning. That's just a work in progress from Trail Little League. From start to finish, we started on July 30th. First phase was sod removal. Once the sod was up and shipped out, then we started regrading, dealing with the garbage that we were peeling up. Second week, J-Star contractor was in, and that was regrading and drainage. So Park 1, the main field, the outfield was sloped, all of the outfield was sloped right into the infield with nowhere for that water to go. So if we had an irrigation problem or one of those flash heavy storms, that water would pool behind shortstop, second base, and then would eventually get over into the seating area, but then it had nowhere to go. So which did cause closures of games, or closures of the park, which canceled games and everything else. So for that second week, we sloped everything from home plate out. Park 2 on the right-hand side as you come in was easy because we had the bank there. So we're trying to follow a 2% grade from home plate all the way to the outfield, and that field will just naturally drain. Park 1, because we don't have that option, being that it's butted right up to the bank. Again, from home plate sloped all the way out, but we've had to crown in the middle, and there's a soakaway on the third baseline right at the back of the field. And there's another soakaway in that center section that catches all of right field and the whole center section of Beliski Park as you come in. So the barrels are in the ground. The park looks amazing right now. We're just working on final touches of rolling, regrading, and the retaining wall around the third baseline is just being built today, because we had to come down so far grade along the third baseline of Park 1. There was a big hump there. So now that we've had to maintain that grade from home plate all the way out for drainage, it ended up, we're cutting into that little secondary road where people spectate from. So we have to retain that dirt because it's Yeah, the angle, the pitch of the angle there is too much, so. Sod is scheduled for September 10th. Next week, if all goes well this week, next week, we're hoping to trench and start laying irrigation. Topsoil should be in and spread by the end of this week if everything goes according to plan. And that's what I have for you guys. Happy to answer any questions.
Go ahead, Councillor Hanson.
Thank you, through the chair. I actually have an email that I'd like to council and to Josh and city staff. On behalf of the Little League, Marty Schreiner, as well as the Canadian Provincials Board, about the incredible work that's being done. They said, "Dear Council, I wanted to provide a quick update from the Trail Little League perspective on the 2025 Andy Beliski Park impromptu revitalization. First, I'm incredibly thankful for Dave for being open to starting this project with us. He has been easy to work with, understanding of the need to collaborate with both Trail Little League and the Provincial Canadians Board, and instrumental in getting this project started. Since the transition of the project to Josh, things have truly taken off. This has been fast-moving, dynamic effort, and Josh has been nothing short of amazing. Open and flexible to every idea our group has brought forward, quick to respond, whether it's 6 a.m. or 8 p.m., and committed to meeting me every morning at the field to ensure we are aligned in the timelines and the needs for the day. His communication has been clear and constant, and he has managed the controlled chaos at the park with professionalism, respect, and strong safety-oriented approach, ensuring that all work meets the necessary standards. Throughout, he has kept the best interests of both the city and Trail Little League in mind. I also want to express my gratitude to every city worker I have encountered during this project. Without exception, each has brought a positive attitude and willingness to adapt to what was admittedly a large project dropped onto Public Works in a very short time frame. Our city should be very proud of the adaptability, capability, and teamwork demonstrated by this department. Thank you for your continued support.
There you go.
Awesome.
Well done, Mr. Conti, and city staff.
Yeah, it's been a team effort. Came together quite well considering the
That's awesome.
basically zero planning, so
Yes.
it's been great.
You didn't have a committee on it?
Hey,
Oh, sorry.
So is there any other questions for Josh or comments or, no? Okay, thank you so much for being here today. Okay, so next up we have, Brendan from the Facilities and Maintenance. Hi.
Your worship, council, thank you for having me here today. I'd like to provide a project update on the two projects at the Trail Memorial Center. The first being the Cominco Arena with regraded floor placement. A cornerstone of the community. And we're currently, the project is on schedule in line with the construction schedule that was given to us from award at the beginning of the project. And we are within our original budget. We've achieved some key milestones since my last update. So the sub base and heated floor system has been installed, pressure tested. And the floor has now been insulated. Pipe chairs, new rebar have also been installed, and currently they are installing the brine lines. Those will be completed and pressure tested Wednesday. Following this, the arena slab floor will be poured this week scheduled for Thursday. This is a huge milestone for this project, and it is the result of a lot of hard work by a number of contractors, engineers, and city staff. The only public impact that there will be is an increase in heavy vehicle traffic in the area. The award has mitigated this with traffic control personnel that will be in place. But yeah, you'll see a number of mixing trucks coming through on Thursday. Yeah, and for risks, there's no identified risks at this point in the project. It's been a number of meetings around the pre-pour. Another one tomorrow with all the stakeholders. So it'll be a successful concrete pour this week. Moving on to the heat recovery and RTE replacement. At this time, we are in alignment with the schedule submitted from Midwest Mechanical at this time of their tender bid. For project budget, we're working through a slight scope change, will result in a small budget increase. But the overall trade-off is that there is going to be safer and easier access for maintaining a few critical pieces of equipment. They have been on site constructing a large amount of piping for the new boiler plant as well as a domestic hot water system. And there's no public impact beyond same impacts that we would have with Vermont. Still, construction areas toward now, and there's limited public access to the backside of the public safety. That concludes my report. Is there any questions?
Is the public allowed in to watch the pour? Are they allowed in that area at this time?
No, because it is designated as a construction zone, so
Yeah.
there's a clear, we've been able to lock down everything and have a clear delineation. I am working to see if we can get a time lapse camera put in place, and then we can release the video of the time lapse of the pour point in. There's, as far as the general public, no, but
Yeah.
you can have visitor access, but it's restricted. So have to have PPE.
I know so many people are interested in what's going on in there, what is it gonna look like, and yeah. Probably see them peeking in the window or something. Okay, if there's no questions for Brendan, we'll let you go. Or you can stay if you want.
What, you guys wanna stay?
So next up, we have the general manager at
Sure.
Domestic Services.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys, thank you. Yeah. Okay, next up, we have our general manager of municipal services, Jared Bonner. Welcome.
Worship, council, thanks for having me today. Feels a bit odd going backwards, but all with good intent, so. I do come to you wearing a few hats today. I'll provide an update both on our Clark and Leisure Center shutdown as well as some updates from our mechanical and purchasing. So, we'll start with the talc shutdown. So the Clark and Leisure Center shutdown started last week, August 9th. So we're in our second week. Work is progressing well. The resurfacing and tiling repairs for the pool is going really well. Interior work is proceeding. The fitness center, new lights have been installed in both the fitness center and the stretching room. A vast improvement, I will say. And cleaning work is being ongoing in that area as well. So far, those interior activities are all showing to be on schedule, and the electricians are moving into the actual pool area for the lighting upgrades this week. Anything on the Clark shutdown? Just that shutdown ends September 7th, so we have a bit more time. So updates from purchasing mechanical, so we've made quite a big deal about our new toy that's coming, our Toro Sand Pro unit. I've been asking for updates on its delivery because everybody's anxious to be able to see what awesome things this is gonna do for our infields. Update on that, it's still gonna be another couple of weeks before it hits the road here, and then obviously with some time dedicated for orientation and training from the supplier as well, so. Hopefully in early September, we'll be able to get that out and mobilized in some of our local parks. A couple of public works specific projects, our new food fuel station project has been completed and is now operational for the last few weeks. Certainly an improved efficiency being able to refuel down in that area. We are in the process of pouring our concrete pads for our new pipe rack storage to get all that material off the ground and into better shape. Some training coming up here in the next little while, both from a supervisor safety certificate angle, but also some general operator training for equipment. So we have a few things coming due, and there'll be some people cycling through some annual updates. Quick update from the Joint Occupational Health and Safety Committee. Working with them personally to review our incident response and incident reporting, incident notification protocols, forms, processes to make sure that we are aligned with best practices. So that's moving forward very well right now. Which it also includes, working on some safety bulletins, so better communication internally of when we have incidents and how we can share our learnings. So that's the update from Purchase and Mechanical. So a couple of quick updates for myself. Just to reiterate, the work done by our roads and ground crew, Boleski, I know it just was said, but I think that requirement to get mobilized within a matter of 2 weeks is exceptional. It's something hopefully we never have to do on the regular, to be honest. But all good efforts put down by Josh and his crew to respond. And I just want to highlight the amazing work by the Little League team to work with local contractors and suppliers to coordinate a lot of in-kind work. That's the rush for why we are moving so quickly to get this work done, is to be able to leverage that to its fullest extent. So appreciate the effort from that team as well. Another item we talked about was the wonderful welcome to August that everybody experienced with the extremely heavy downpours. So just to qualify it, very significant overwhelming of both of our storm and our sewer systems. Most of it unavoidable, unfortunately. Those types of incidents are not something that you can plan for. But what I will say is very impressed with the response by our crews. Most of them were out that Thursday evening, knee deep in water in critical areas, working to support residents to get services back in line. That being said, it was probably a week and a half worth of effort to be able to clean up completely from that storm event. So significant tree falling, significant residence issues, lots of work has followed. The only other piece, and I'll leave it with you, is that I don't know if it's a bit of a sad thing to say, but we are at this point starting to plan our transition activities, looking forward to making the changeover to winter-based services. So those of you like myself that are not done with summer yet, just put that where you want. But we are going to make sure that we're fully supporting a solid transition to winter, whether that be from our mechanical servicing departments all the way to suppliers. And so that's my update. Thank you.
Go ahead, Councilor Russell.
Question, just with the flooding, you had talked about residential, what about downtown with our businesses? Were they flooding, like, did you get phone calls from businesses, or I just always wonder how they manage in a situation like that?
Yeah, honestly, I don't know if we have received any from specific businesses. Most of the ones that I was involved in triaging were from residents.
Okay.
We were very much aware of some localized flooding down on Esplanade. Those catch basins in the area around the riverfront center are fairly susceptible to some of the trees, and lots of debris was mobilized with the wind into those. So we had some flooding down there. I just don't have any reports of
That's
businesses calling.
Wonder how that worked for downtown. That's all good. Thank you.
Any other questions? Comments? I knew it.
No.
Yeah.
Councilor?
There. I don't want to talk about winter yet. Okay, that's all I think. But thank you guys for all that you're doing. You guys work really hard and it's, so, thanks for the thing.
Right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here today. Thank you. Okay, we will move on to the staff reports. And we have 4 monthly reports in front of you today. The Trail and District Public Library. Paul, I don't know if you wanted to say anything about that quarterly report. We have the bylaw enforcement report, the report on invoices, and the building department report. Councilor Cashel.
Yeah, through the chair, I wonder if you could just speak to the report on invoices paid July 1 to July 31st. I'm not sure if Mr. McClure can hear me. This may be something that you'll need to address. Career development services. I've seen this number come up repeatedly since I've been on council $27,612 for career development services. I guess my question is, how much are we paying yearly for that? And is there a contract that the city of Trail has with CDS? And if there is a contract, would it be possible for council to have a look at that contract? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Cashel. Is Mr. McClure online right now? Oh, there he is.
I'm here, but I'm on unstable internet, so I may crap out on you. Good question. So this work is what we have with the support workers, those that have challenges with employment. We work with them. They do certain jobs for the city. That's a great question. It was one that the new manager of grounds brought up, was asking some questions, and no, we don't have a contract with them. And this will be one of those, again, predated arrangements from way back. And a delicate one at that, but that is part of even the work that council's asked us to look at with our MB landscaping and with CIB is also with this contract. And are we getting value? Is there a different way to take on that work? So that is something that will be discussed, especially in the fall here. I'm not sure if that answered all of Councillor Cashel's questions or not, but.
Thank you, Mr. McClure, through the chair. So we can expect at some point, maybe this year, a follow-up on that report as to what the arrangements will be with CDS going forward?
Yes, absolutely. So that was, again, with us looking at what's happening with landscaping, and we know that individuals also provide not only summer work but winter work. It's like I said, it's a question that we'll have to look at to, I think, is there some value in us rolling, depending on what council's direction is with CIB and MB landscaping, and as well with this project up.
Thank you, Mr. McClure. Thank you.
Okay, go ahead.
Sorry, I just wanted to make a comment. Our bylaw enforcement officer asked me just under her report, just to let everybody know that this has been an exceptional year of no bears. So we've not been dealing with any bears, none, not a single bear in a single trash can. So, and just that the new garbage cans that have been installed are really, really working. And in my.
Until I figure out how to hold them.
Yeah, so just wanted to let council know that it's been an exceptional year for not having to deal with bears. They're happy with their huckleberries.
Yeah, there's so many berries out there this year.
Yeah.
Okay, so yes, go ahead.
Just on the library report, I just want to know that we were 9 people short of reaching 20,000 people through the Riverfront Center, which is a tremendous amount of people coming through the doors for a community our size and for a city asset that we have. So just wanted to point that out for everyone, and it does take into consideration people coming in for different reasons than just the library, but to the museum and whatnot. So perhaps we'll see that number even higher next year.
One thing that I was really stuck out for me is that Juanita Mall, the number of programs they have out there and the number of people that are attending those. So that's really impressive too. Yeah. Okay, go ahead, Councilor Hanson.
Thank you through the chair. I was just going to speak to the business licensing. Just wanted to point out that we are significantly higher this year. We're up to 55 new business licenses compared to 35 last year. So it shows just an uptake in new businesses and
The short-term rentals.
that too. But good to see new businesses opening up, and it looks like that new Crazy Chill Eatery's been really busy. So
Okay, thank you. Okay, so the recommendation is that council consider and resolve to receive these reports for information. Thank you, Councilor Martin. All those in favor? And that was carried. Okay, so next item on the agenda is the resolution to rise from the committee of the whole. Is there a motion? Councilor Wilson, seconder, Councilor Butler, thank you. To rise from the committee of whole. Everyone was in. Councilor Benson, sorry, did you support that? Yeah. So that was carried. The resolution to exclude the public recess the public meeting until immediately following the public hearing scheduled for 6 p.m. and immediately convene into the closed session. And the resolution is that pursuant to section 90 of the community charter, the public be excluded from this portion of the meeting as the subject matter being considered relates to the following. The community charter section 91C, employee relations, the community charter section 91K, negotiations and related discussion respecting provisions of the municipal service that are at their preliminary stages. And the community charter section 91L, discussions with municipal officers and the employees respecting municipal objectives, measures, and progress reports. And further, that the public portion of the meeting be recessed until 6:00 p.m. and further that council immediately resolve into the closed portion of the meeting. Councillor Hanson and Councillor Wilson, all those in favor? That was carried, thank you. Please.
Are we done?